Lesson 167. There is one life that I share with God. We are acknowledging death, which seems to be the opposite of God. There is either living with God or there is death, and death takes many forms. It can be stress, it can be an anxiety, it can be pain, it can be fear. That all is death. Because death is the opposite of God, or anything that keeps us from thinking that we are one with God. Anything that keeps us separate is death. But we have to remember, ideas do not leave their source. So we are one life with God because we are there with God. They do not leave our source. And death is only a thought that you are separate from your Creator. So, what can we do here? We can realize that we are sleeping. And if there's anything that seems to be the opposite of God, it is merely this dream or that we are sleeping, which isn't real, but we seem to find that throughout our day because this dream seems real. So let's take the example of a little 3-year-old whose mother puts him to bed for a nap every day, and she puts books in with him and toys, and he usually takes 10, 15, 20 minutes to fall asleep, and he plays in there. Well, one day she puts him in there, but that morning he had received a present from his grandma, and she did not put that in there with him, and he really wanted to play with that really badly. And since she knows it takes him about 20 minutes to get to sleep, she decides she's going to vacuum the whole house, which takes about that long. So she puts him down and she immediately starts vacuuming. And he is in there screaming and crying, "How could mommy do this? Put me in here. I don't want to take a nap. I want to play with that toy. And I'm angry and I'm frustrated and I'm judging mommy. She's a mean, evil mommy. And I'm so sad and this isn't fair." And he takes all his toys and he throws them out of the crib. And finally he's crying so hard and screaming and crying uncontrollably, he finally falls asleep. And then mommy gets done vacuuming. And she listens and she doesn't hear her son talking to himself or crying. So she just goes on with the rest of her day, and then he wakes up. And mommy never even realized that he was upset or angry. That's just like God. We throw these tantrums, we get upset, we think it's all about us. We can't calm ourselves down. We can't try to focus on something else or focus on love or truth. And then we sleep and wake up, and sometimes we come back to God, and sometimes we get frustrated and angry. But we're trying to get back to not being frustrated and angry and just being one with God. And so, in my example, God is like mommy. He doesn't realize we're so upset and angry. He thinks we're just a peaceful, little, wonderful being of light. So, let's remember there's one life that I share with God. Let's try to find that today and melt into the oneness and love and truth, and realize we think with His mind and our ideas do not leave the source, and we are with God, we are part of God, and we will be happy.